today: adverse childhood experiences. Wow, adverse childhood experiences. So, this is my topic today from the theme Releasing Your Inner Child. I'm Toyin Okanuga. I'm the CEO of Hush to Roar. And today it's an intro into adverse childhood experiences. It's very close to my heart. So why adverse childhood experiences? Why me? Why do I feel qualified? Today, adverse childhood experiences, what are they? So these are unfortunate experiences that a child has had in their life before they reach the age of 18. So people might say, oh, come on, we all have them. It doesn't matter. Just man up. Just come on. What is the big deal about childhood experiences adverse? I mean, come on, what does it matter? It matters a great deal. And why does it matter a great deal? It matters a great deal because adverse childhood experiences, they're not the same as a little fall and tumble. When we say, a bit of rough and tumble's good for you, you're going to get more resilient. That is so true. However, if a child experiences some events in their life that impacts them negatively in a prolonged way, it will affect them years and years to come if it doesn't stop. And that's why we have these terminologies, ACEs. It becomes traumatic. Today, I can tell you from my childhood experiences, I've had quite a few, and they're not rough and tumble where you think, man up. They are adverse experiences that I had no idea had impacted me as an adult. So that's why I'm qualified to talk about that. Now, I've got 2 freebie ebooks so that you can get to know me better, because sometimes it's good to know who you're talking to and just know that whether it's their area of expertise, this is my forte. And with the pandemic, I just like to express my condolences and love to anyone out there who has been severely affected directly or indirectly as a result of this pandemic that has struck all of us and has had some indirect ways of making us know each other better, but also, most importantly, know ourselves. And it has made us appreciate life. Some have been severely devastated by it, and I extend my hands of prayer to you. And what this can teach us is a lot. It's about compassion, connectivity, authenticity. Let's just be real with ourselves and say things do affect us if we don't deal with them. So there was a time in my life when I didn't have a voice. There's a time in my life where I was so frustrated with anyone, that I had so much unforgiveness in my heart because of my childhood experiences. And people might look at me today and think, oh, come on, Toyin, what could you have possibly gone through? What I can say is that if you start my journey, if you start a journey with me and you see the snippets that I'm going to give you for free, you'll start to understand where I'm coming from. So there were a lot of things that were manifesting. So adverse childhood experiences, they are the ones that could be physical abuse, it could be sexual abuse, it could be emotional abuse. Now, if these 3 elements are extended for a long time, they will stay embedded in our heads, in our brain, our mind, our thoughts, and that's what our personality traits would be. And because at the time as children, you don't have a voice, or you're in a state of shock, you don't say anything, it becomes traumatic. And these physical, sexual, emotional abuse that take place in the lives of children are what contribute to long life illnesses. And what struck me out of everything was a physical ailments that these result in. I had no idea. I had no idea that everything that I was having operations, having terrible earache, having constant visits to doctors when I got at some point stopped going, it's because of adverse childhood experiences primarily. Of course, there are other factors, but today is just an intro to let you know that I will be talking to you about these because I have experienced them full on. So I'm just going to leave here with you some of the freebies before the trauma. If you want to have a look, you can copy that link, download it for free, and just start with me on my journey as we start this world of trying to tackle this invisible, it's an invisible illness. And I want you to know that we need to cure this because there are people, I'm not the only one for sure, because I'll just read this out to you to let you know that I'm not. So, 1 in 5 adults in England and Wales experienced abuse before they were 16 years old, according to a report by the Office for National Statistics. And this was published on the 14th of January 2020. Now, it goes on. Quite traumatic, actually. So the report here shows that at the end of March last year, more than 54,000 children were in the care of local authorities in England and Wales because they had experienced or were at risk of abuse. This should not happen. We can't let this happen. So as I continue my journey with you on this 30-day challenge, I'll take you through each topic to let you know how adversely these will affect us. And releasing your inner child is what the overall theme is, because that's what we don't do. We don't say anything, but they manifest in us through other ways that are unbearable to people that are close to us the most. So I invite you today to start a journey with me so that we can tackle this. In the year leading up to March 2019, Childline delivered 19,847 counselling sessions to children in the UK that were abused in some way or the other. Abuse was the main concern. And it just can't be happening. It's just unacceptable. We have to tackle adverse childhood experiences. And if I take you through my journey, you'll be surprised that you think, oh, come on, it's just a bit of rough and tumble. Come on, man up. Just be resilient. But it's more than that, because adverse childhood experiences, they're not the quick, oh, get up or fainting in school or being smacked once or even, it's a prolonged adverse experience that lives with you, that embeds in your head, that makes you realize you have no voice. So I want to invite you to stay with me as I take you on the journey of trying to tackle this traumatic experience. I'm Toyin Okanuga. If you want to contact me, you can reach me at toyin@hoshtaror.com. That's where you can reach me. And if you want to start a journey with me, Before the Trauma is a freebie, but childhood trauma. If you go into childhood trauma and go into that link, you get your free ebook. And that will take you on a journey of why I'm talking about this. Why is it so dear to me? And yes, we have to tackle this. We really do. So I've been talking about this adverse childhood experiences, and all I can say is that this is an invisible illness that we need to tackle head on. Because there was a time in my life where I had no voice, and that's where Hush the Roars come from. Because we have a tendency to violate our own standards so that we don't bring shame or guilt to other people. And it's from adverse childhood experiences that some of them stem from. And I'll be discussing with you the effects of the adverse childhood experiences in our brain. So trauma and brain is my next theme. Thank you very much. And I love you. Remember, your inner child has a voice. Don't suppress it. Let it roar. Thank you very much for watching.